3 billion passengers a year and growing fast. There's not a corner of the world the airline industry doesn't touch. For decades, commercial jets have flown over conflict zones, safe in the knowledge that at 30,000 feet an airliner is untouchable. That belief was shattered 2 weeks ago. Security officials in Ukraine said today that the black box flight recorders found after the MH17 crash show it suffered an explosive loss of pressure after it was hit by a missile. That is forcing the whole industry to rethink how and where it operates. Now, Emirates has become the first commercial airline to confirm it will stop flying over Iraq because of the threat of missile strikes from ISIS extremists. The decision could be a costly one. Emirates operates hundreds of flights a day from its huge base in Dubai. One of the main air corridors to Europe passes directly over Mosul, still held by ISIS extremists. Today, the airline already appeared to be shifting some flights. The 1415 from Dubai to Heathrow was diverted east over Iran. But Emirates isn't the only company doing this. Data appears to show yesterday's Virgin flight to Dubai avoiding the area, although the airline wouldn't tell us if and when its policy had changed. Others, though, do continue to fly over northern Iraq. Today, British Airways Flight 107 to Dubai and Etihad Flight 17 both flew directly over the north of the country to and from the Middle East. It's a sensitive subject for airlines. Most of those we spoke to today were reluctant to explain why they fly over Iraq and other war zones and how they come to that decision.
I think we have something of a cobweb approach to the management of safe airspace. For our governments to have sovereign right to close airspace above their territories, governments, whether it's their own airspace or not, can give advisory guidance to airlines about what to do. We have industry bodies, we have airlines with their own intelligence, particularly those larger global airlines who have local staff in a whole host of places around the world, but it isn't a hard and fast rule.
Security sources still think MH17 was brought down by a Buk missile launcher, a serious piece of military hardware that can't easily be bought on the black market or smuggled across a border. There is no solid evidence militants in Iraq have got hold of anything so sophisticated, but Syrian military bases have been looted and no one seems clear what was taken or how useful it is in rebel hands.
And there's no evidence that they've managed to raid Iraqi or Syrian stockpiles for that sort of platform. The Iraqis and the Syrians both have it. There's no indication the rebels, and in particular ISIS, have it. What they may have are cruiser systems, shoulder-launched systems, but again, they would only make aircraft vulnerable at takeoff or landing.
Last week, the American airline regulator, the FAA, temporarily banned US airlines from flying into Tel Aviv because of the threat of a short-range missile strike. European authorities also recommended Ben Gurion Airport should be avoided, but the language used was much softer. This has happened before. In 2011, as violence spiked in Libya, the FAA banned flights across that country's airspace. There are also restrictions across Mali and other parts of Africa, but again, no formal European ban is in place. Those working in the industry say the system is a mess.
Our concern is that in the balance of the equation, some airlines might be making decisions based on some financial or commercial consideration rather than purely flight safety, simply to save 6 minutes in a flight and 6 minutes extra fuel burn.
Flight data showing dozens of airlines still crossing Iraq this evening. At a meeting tomorrow, we'll see the first attempt to draw up a coherent system of airspace bans. Until then, it's simply up to individual airlines to make that decision on their own.